Folks, this is Caleb. I'm here in Moscow in my hotel room, but after I saw the news about what's going on in the United States, I just had to make this video. Let me tell you a little story first. Today, I was in Moscow for a big parade to commemorate the World Festival of Youth and Students and to launch in the lead up to the festival that's happening and starting tomorrow in Sochi. And so at this parade, there were a lot of young people from a lot of different countries marching through the streets of Moscow in the lead up to the World Festival. And a group of young people ran up to me and embraced me. These were young people I'd met before, but I hadn't met them here in Russia. These were young people from Iran. It's a young organization, a youth organization called Justice for Peace. And it was these young Iranians that had come here to the World Festival of Youth and Students. They recognized me from when I'd been to Iran. And, we embraced each other. And it was a beautiful moment. And it was a moment like that where it just has to be said that this idea that Iran is out to get us, this idea that Americans are in danger from Iran or the world is in danger from Iran is false. Iran is not coming to get us. Iran is not out to attack us. Iran is not trying to develop nuclear weapons. Iran is not a threat. And I know this for a fact, and you should know it as well. Now, when Donald Trump was speaking about Iran and taking his efforts to undermine the nuclear deal, he referred to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as terrorists. That's just not accurate. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran are actually in Syria right now fighting against ISIS. At this very moment, they are on the battlefield in Syria fighting against the ISIS terrorists, fighting against al-Qaeda, trying to protect the Syrian government, which is a government that protects Christians and religious minorities from extremists. And for Donald Trump to call them terrorists while they are heroically fighting against terrorists is just mistaken. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran, it's a group of people in Iran that were founded after the revolution to protect the country and to protect its revolutionary, anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist principles that the Islamic Revolution was founded on. They're not a group of terrorists. Iran supported the people of the African National Congress, the people in South Africa fighting against apartheid. Iran supported them. Iran supported the Irish people and their fight for independence against the British. Right now, Iran is supporting the people of Bahrain. Bahrain has a brutal, absolute monarchy backed up by the United States, a king who's working with the Saudis. It's backed up by the USA. There's military bases there. We're fine with this government in Bahrain that beheads people and tortures people and murders people. Meanwhile, Iran is with the people of Bahrain, the majority of the people there that are fighting for democracy. So this idea that Iran is trying to spread terrorism around the world is absolutely false. It's the United States that backed the extremists in Libya that eventually toppled Gaddafi and pushed that country into chaos. The USA sent bombs and bombed Libya in order to back up these extremists that have just reduced Libya to extreme chaos. The United States backed extremists in Syria. We've been backing these extremists and these rebels that are fighting against the internationally recognized government. In Ukraine, closer to where I'm at now, in Ukraine, the USA backed these extremist elements that seized the government and have been very, very hostile to Russian-speaking people and people in the eastern regions of Ukraine and have been creating chaos there. But when it gets down to it, the Wall Street billionaires and monopolists, they can't tolerate any country developing and competing with them. Iran has lots of oil, and they're starting to get into natural gas, and they're competing with the Wall Street billionaires on the international markets. They don't like Russia for the same reason. Russia is a big producer of oil and natural gas. It's selling it on the international markets. They can't stand it. They don't want any competitors. They want a global monopoly. They want everyone to be buying from them only. That's what the billionaires and the bankers on Wall Street want. And they can't tolerate any competitors. And when a country asserts its independence and starts to develop and raise itself up from poverty and build its own industries and utilize its own natural resources, that's when they get attacked. The USA is hostile to China, not because China is out to get the United States. China is very friendly to the United States, but the USA can't stand that they're selling steel all over the world and copper and aluminum all over the world. The billionaires and the bankers in the United States, they want a monopoly. They don't want any competitors. They want the world to be poor and underdeveloped so that everyone has to buy from them. And when it gets down to it, not only are they trying to keep people poor around the world, they've made a lot of the United States poor. I'm from Ohio. Our state has been deindustrialized. I live in New York now, and like most people from my state, you can't live there. I mean, the unemployment is crazy. Young people can't find a future now that it's been deindustrialized. I mean, the state has just been wrecked by heroin and the opioid crisis. This is the future that the billionaires and monopolists have. I'm an American. I consider myself to be patriotic, but these billionaires and these monopolists who run our government, they're not patriotic to the United States. They're not loyal to the American people. They only want their profits. So the idea that Iran or Russia or China or any of these independent countries are our enemies, that's pure propaganda. And we, the people of the United States, ought to embrace the people of the world as we struggle to develop and build peace and international cooperation and friendship. So what Donald Trump is saying right now about Iran,